And welcome to Add More Zest. My name's Rebecca. Happy Friday to you all, if you're watching on a Friday. Happy early Friday if you are members and have had early access. I am working on Out of This World today. So I've just popped the black in my tray. You may be able to see I have not done much more than the last WIP and Waffle. I actually can't remember now if I did have, I think I did have some of this section to the left still to do. So I think I've finished that off, but I haven't moved across with any more sections. There's been one main reason for that, and that's been chart to art. I have been working on a chart to art that I have kitted up. The kitting up video will be coming, though I think it's January actually now, because I shuffled it about to fit in the temperature chart kit up earlier. But yeah, I did film a few kitting up videos and things. I've just spread them out over a few weeks, and of course we have December event coming up. In fact, this is the last WIP and Waffle of 2025, which is, well, it's not, in the fact that the December event is a WIP and Waffle a day, but it's the last other WIP and Waffle for 2025, which feels really, really weird to say. Because I am in no way in full Christmas spirit yet. Having said that, I am also filming this early. I'm actually filming it shortly after completing last week's WIP and Waffle. And that's purely just to give myself a little bit of a, I suppose, YouTube overhead filming break before the event starts. So I like to try when I can, because the December event is me basically doing a section a day, and it takes quite a bit of time. I like to try, if possible, to get a little bit ahead for January. So I have a couple of sort of potential Advent spoiler type vlogs for January. I have a few videos between Christmas and New Year, and again the beginning of January done. And yeah, then I like to try and get just that little bit ahead on a WIP and Waffle, so that I can have like a mini YouTube break before the event starts, and then it's full on. That, or it's just to give myself a little bit of time to maybe film a couple of them ahead, so that I can get myself a nice rhythm and try to give myself weekends off in December, because that is definitely something that helps me get through Christmas. It's not so much the time to do the WIP and Waffle, because I still try and diamond paint every day throughout December and take my own advice and get that little bit of me time. It's more the editing and everything else that goes alongside a YouTube video that I try to get ahead with and pace myself with, and allow myself to have those weekends off from that. So that's the reason I'm a little bit ahead as I'm filming this. So as you're watching this, the mystery bag sale will have happened. I just have no idea how it went, so I'm really hoping it went well. I guess time will tell, for me at least. But I have lots of comments and things to go through from previous WIP and Waffles. So I thought we'll see how many of those I can get through, try and get a little bit more up to date before we start the Advent event, because I always end up getting quite a lot on those, and I do like to read them all out and answer them all properly if they need an answer. So yeah, I thought we'll do this one ahead and see how many we can get through. I do have more than an hour, possibly stretching to an hour and a half, depending on what goes on in life in the background while I'm doing this. And then I'll need to go and get postage ready for the postman to take. But we're on comments from, well, it'll be 3 weeks ago as you guys are watching this. But Sammy Lou, she says her daughter is doing great. She said her collarbone is healing lovely, which is fantastic to hear. But she says trying to get to a 3-year-old, she says, to slow down and be careful with her arm is really difficult. Yes, that's a full-time job in itself. She says she keeps telling her to be careful, but she doesn't listen. Bless their little cotton socks. What are they like? Toddlers are alluring to themselves, I think, a lot of the time. I'm actually using I've just realised I decided to use the same tray and pen for this that I've been using to do my chart to art. I thought rather than bringing out the gold pen again, I'll use this one because it's out and it's handy. And I've just realised this one does not have a multi-placer on it. So I may have to go and get my other tray and pen, which I just left on the side in the craft room. Because while this black isn't too bad, and it's not too bad single placing all of this, I feel like I'm not going to get very far with some of the others if I don't crack some multi-placing out. I also think that some of my diamonds line up better. And who'd have thought I'd ever say that? Because for years and years and years, I just did not do multi-placing at all. I single placed every single diamond for multiple different kits that I've done. And it's only in recent times that I have really taken to my multi-placers. And yeah, this diamond painting kind of screams out for it on quite a few different things. So before I go on to the next comment, I'm going to go and switch back. Though this pen goes absolutely fantastic with this. I do just know that my straightener in here has got double-sided tape around it to make sure it sticks in. So I think my other pen might be better to try and get through some of this blue. I have just uncovered 2 sections, but I'm kind of hoping, I have no concept of time of how long sections take on this, because I just don't track it. But I'm kind of hoping that we can get this section done, and it may take a bit over an hour. But even if it stretches to an hour and a half, I've got the time to do that. And yeah, we can just see a full section being completed. Let me grab my other pen. Okay, I'm back. I'm back with yellow and yellow. I do have my cart with me. I just don't keep trays and pens on my cart. But I'm going for the bow tie, which I also think is being a lopsided egg timer. But I'm going for my bow tie one. just in case you're watching the symbols. Little Sue's Crafts, she says she's so happy that I am back doing overhead shots for my Heaven and Earth design. She says diamond painting is looking great, and she says she can't wait to see it finished. She says, are you planning on putting it up somewhere? I actually don't have a plan to put the Heaven and Earth design up somewhere at the moment. I have so many diamond paintings that are just rolled up in their boxes. It's unreal how many I have, that I just don't get round to putting up for whatever reason. There are a few that I do, but I just really enjoy the process more than anything else. This one has a plan to go up, which is why it pushed in front of the queue. But other than that, no, I just have loads and loads of boxes with completed ones in places. And I'm doing the Heaven and Earth design for the challenge of doing the Heaven and Earth design, not for any other reason than just the process of it all, and doing the chart. And they didn't get on there lined up, so let me just knock them off. But yeah, I don't have a plan. It may end up somewhere at some point, but yeah, I really should see if I've got any more that have either been completed or I'd like to complete, because there are places I can put diamond paintings up potentially in my home. I've just not done. Seems like a too hard a task unless one speaks to me, or speaks to hubby in the case of this one, and automatically has somewhere I know it can go. I'll actually be removing a Lego painting for this one to go up, and I'll have to find somewhere else for that to go, because I do have a few of those up, though they get in the way more. Like, I can't just pop them away in a box as easy, or roll them up. It's easier to roll diamond paintings up than it is for my Lego. Liv, she says she really doesn't like the chaos in her den. She said it has come a bit chaotic. Yeah, spaces can definitely get a bit chaotic, especially when life gets busy for whatever reasons. It's like sometimes just picking up after ourselves just becomes either too hard, or there's just too much stuff and you just don't quite have the time, and yeah, it can just end up getting a bit OTT and needs a very good sort out, which then of course takes even longer to sort of reset it back to normal. So I get that. She says she is currently suffering from a stinking cold, or a stonking cold, she says, so she doesn't feel too cracking, which, yeah, is not going to help at all. Things in our house do exactly the same thing. It did it to me the other day, earlier on in the week. It was just chaos. There was just stuff left out on tables that just, on a normal day when the house was tidy, and it was a normal daytime, it wouldn't have got left there. It just wouldn't have done. But because other stuff had got by the wayside, clearing up stuff, it just became just as easy to add. It became easier to add to the mess than to not. And we ended up doing sort of a full-on reset, and it literally took half an hour, I think, just to reset, not full on organisation or anything, but just to reset the space. And yeah, sometimes you just have to pause after your stinking cold, because who needs to deal with it while you have a cold? But you just need to focus on it for a little bit once your cold has died down and go, right, okay, what can I do to get this back to even semi-normal? And yeah, just help yourself out a little bit so that you can enjoy the space once more. She said she's had to take a day off work, which she doesn't like doing. She says, but her health is far more important. And that's true. And sometimes colds can be the worst. It's really weird how they can either be just a mild annoyance or a sledgehammer. And there doesn't even really seem to be an in-between. It's either something that's just a little pesky nuisance, or, as I say, it's a sledgehammer to the head and it just completely knocks you for six. And just doesn't seem to then want to go away again. But 'tis the season. 'Tis the season for stonking colds. Oh, just spotted some more over here. Let's get those. Oh, and one up there. Before we venture too far off. That is the only thing with this painting, especially with it having so many blues. Sometimes I sort of section it off a little bit with my hands, so I'm looking at less, or a piece of cover paper. So I'm sort of looking at less and going, okay, where do I need to do? And when I multi-place, this can potentially make it worse because I've done huge chunks, but I haven't done the pesky little bits, and sometimes I can miss them because of that. But it is so nice to be able to multi-place some sections and feel like I'm getting somewhere. I think I might end up doing some more of this evening. I've really been enjoying doing my chart to art, but I only do one section. And I think I might try and start diamond painting a little bit earlier this evening and maybe do the other half of this at least, and maybe even start on some more. Oh, got two in one. We'll bob them there. Oh, obviously the one that I'd picked up as a little bonus one didn't flatten down enough. We've got a lot going across, and I only tend to like to multi-place vertical. Just can't get my head around vertical. Multi-placing horizontal just doesn't work the same for me. So when it comes to a big long line, I just end up single placing it. Susan, she says the heaven and earth design, she says, is looking really good. She says it's been a while since she's seen it, and she loves the way it looks. She says, thank you so much for sharing. It is coming along really, really nicely. I know earlier on in the year I was kind of hoping to have had it finished as sort of an end of the year thing. But as usual, I mentioned that before I forgot how crazy Advent season gets. So it didn't happen, but it will get finished at some point in 2026. And then I have my next big project already in mind. In fact, my next two are already still in my head to do. But yeah, I'm looking forward to doing outside the sweet shop when it's finished. And I'm kind of hoping that come the new year, because if I'm being real, I don't think it's going to happen over December. I'm hoping to get sort of ahead a bit again. So even though I'm only doing the WIP and Waffle on it every other week. I'm kind of hoping to maybe try and still get a few sections done in between and sort of leave it out. But yeah, it will depend, because I've got quite a few things kitted up and on the go, though I haven't touched my paint gem yet. I need to figure out a little routine. Maybe I need to bring back my little spinning wheel and let Tiny Decisions decide what I do. So maybe if I put on it that I will do either a paint gem, chart to art, or heaven and earth design, and then if I do a chart to art section or a heaven and earth design section or a paint gem and feel like doing some more of my ongoing painting, I can then move on to my ongoing painting. I might set that up later. And maybe I'll put this painting on the decision wheel as well. So there'll be 4 decisions. So it'll be paint gem, chart to art, heaven and earth design, or out of this world. If it chooses out of this world, I just work on that for the evening. If it chooses any of the others, so paint gem, I'll do 1 complete painting. Chart to art, I'll do 1 complete day section. And heaven and earth design, I'll do my 6th section. And then if I still want to diamond paint, I'll move on to doing out of this world. I won't spin it again, because if I end up doing 2 charting ones, one after the other, because it's lay flat, it can pull on my neck a bit more. Like it's too much to do 2 of them one after the other, or at least it is without, you know, it's not as comfy. Oh, I might set that up, because I do like my little decision wheel and it'll make my mind up for me which one I'm working on, and then I'll actually get excited to spin it again. And if I'm done after just doing, you know, whichever one it's picked, then I'm done. But if I want to do more, then I can actually move over to doing some more of this, and hopefully get this finished in December so it can get put up when the Christmas decks come down. Right, am I done? Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not seeing any at the moment, so I'm going to go for done for the moment. Oh, and I've just gone to tip my diamonds and my stopper's come out. That's not good. Did I even have my stopper in when I came in here? Because I'm not seeing it. I think I may have left my stopper, or it may have come out on the way. Some of my stoppers fit really, really snug, and some of them are a little bit looser than others. It's just the nature of the way the trays prints. So I've just tipped them up and managed to get a load all over the table. But no, my stopper is not here. Okay, let me find that, otherwise I'm going to make a mess every single time. Okay, found my stopper. It was on the craft room floor. I found it as soon as I walked, so it must have been as I pulled it. And breathe. Okay, next diamond. Next diamond. I'm going for the upside down T, if I can find it. I know it's in here somewhere. There it is. I'm just going for the next one up, is what I've sort of decided. That's what makes my decision. Ellie T, she says, hi Rebecca. She says, thank you for the WIP and Waffle. She says, you kept me and Dottie company last night. She said the 6th of November. She says, as they cuddled on her bed, she says, due to the fireworks. She says, this is the worst year, and the big girl, she says, will be 7 next February. Dottie sat next to her on the 5th, shaking, oh bless, panting and drooling. She says she is not against people having fun. She says, but they started before 4 and went on for 7 hours plus. She said she felt like she was sat against a washing machine on a spin cycle, she says, for all those hours. Oh, little mite. She says she wouldn't even let me go to the toilet. She said, and they were both very worried about her. The baby of the family is 6 today. She says she just didn't like the fireworks that made a whizzy noise. She says she is sat there, again, she says, with Dottie and Bella. She says Bella rather close. She said she can't remember much of what was said while eating with one hand. Oh dear. She says she'll rewatch in a bit, and she does hope that everyone has a good weekend. It is such a shame when they really don't like fireworks. I know my friend has got one dog that really doesn't like fireworks at all, because I remember one year, because she normally gets something from the vet to help calm the dog down, that she gives to them on bonfire night. But she'd been in hospital herself and hadn't got round to getting it. And of course, all the fireworks things, well, it was last year, but all the fireworks things sort of started, and she didn't have something. And I remember I had, was it Nutricalm or something? You can get it online. I'd got it to try it with Luna for something else that she doesn't like. Tried it with cats, didn't work. But like, it was calmer, but it didn't like fully stop her. She really does not like cats. Really doesn't like cats. So yeah, I ended up giving my friend that. So maybe if she's that bad, maybe see if you can get something from the vets. Might be good for New Year as well, because they'll all start up again. We still hear them the odd weekend round here. It's like from now until Christmas, there'll just be the odd celebration that somebody will decide is a good reason to have fireworks because they're available. And yeah, they'll just go off. We're just blessed in the fact that they don't bother Luna. Cats do, and they definitely are around a lot more often. Most of them stay out of our garden because they know she'll go mad. But there's one cat that lives over the back that actually likes to torment her. She just sits on top of the fence and stares at her like, what are you doing? Which, in one sense, I say, go girl. In another sense, I say, get the flipping heck off my fence. Because I do not want to hear Luna barking at you. Nellie, she says, hi Rebecca. She says, you will get used to the numbers again, which are the Ever Moment numbers on my Heaven and Earth design canvas. She says it's because you've not been doing it regular for some time, which is true, and it doesn't help when I'm mixing it up with a chart to art kit as well that doesn't have the numbers. So I think my brain doesn't like switching between having numbers and not having numbers. Yeah, it just sort of tricks it. But I think if I was doing another blank canvas Heaven and Earth design again in the near future, I would just get the plain canvas without the numbers on, because I just think it just works better for me. It's just what I'm used to. And sometimes you can teach an old dog new tricks, and sometimes you just can't. Oh, Nellie also says, she's going to have to stop diamond painting for a little bit as she feels burnt out. but she's hoping to go back to it later. And yeah, if it's not bringing you the joy it needs to bring you, then taking a break can actually, it can be really good. And the joy often comes back. I know, like, I didn't stop because it wasn't bringing me joy, but I did stop because I was busy. But I will say, when I got back into doing more of it again, the joy level was higher than it was before. I just sort of, it's like a little reminder again of how much I enjoy doing it. Oh, Catherine, she says she finds it hard to sleep. She says so there are some nights that she doesn't sleep at all. I used to have that sometimes when the kids were younger, when the kids were a lot younger, and in turn I was a lot younger. There used to be the odd time, only a couple of times a year, 2 or 3 times a year, when I would just be awake all night getting all sorts of stuff done. And yeah, I'd get absolutely loads done because I'd have no kids, no interruptions, no messing, and I'd just be able to focus. And I could get so much done in those evenings. And then I'd stay awake all day with the kids, and then I'd just go to bed early the next day. I can't do that the same anymore. I've tried before. I've thought, do you know what? I'm not getting any sleep. I'm just getting up. I'm going to do something. And come 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm just like, no, I am dead. Like, my brain couldn't focus enough to get stuff done. So even if I couldn't fall asleep, my brain actually couldn't focus enough to do what I wanted it to do. So I've given up on that now. If I don't get to sleep till 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, then I don't get to sleep till then. And I just deal with that. But I at least stay in bed now because I know that getting up is just, I can't do it. I just cannot do it anymore. Just doesn't work. Just don't have the same energy levels that I used to, that's for sure. There's actually quite a few of these. There's possibly more of these than I thought there was, though I've still tipped plenty of diamonds into my tray, of course. I think it's because I didn't see too many that were to multi-place. There were a couple that I missed, but I didn't see loads of huge sections to multi-place with this one. Kim, she says, congratulations on selling so many advents this year. Thank you. Yes, it's currently at the point, there is some left on the website, but at the moment I actually don't have, as I'm filming this, I don't have any made up. But I didn't have any made up at the beginning of the week either. And I just made up a very small batch. And making up a small batch, while it's not time productive, like it is better if I'm making up bigger batches, it doesn't take anywhere near as much time. Though it still takes a chunk, but it sort of varies it up as well on how I'm packing them. I feel like I can pack them a little bit different if I can lay out 5 or 10 boxes and bag things and put them in as I'm bagging them. It's just different to what I've done the whole rest of the time. But yeah, they've done well. She says, you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and it'll soon be time to take a deep breath and realise that the 2025 Advent season will soon be over. That is true. That is true. There will be a slight disappointment when it is over, but there will also be great relief, I think. Just knowing, I think, that it's like I'm not going to have to package up anymore. Though, as I say, doing the small amounts is actually not too bad, as long as it's not every single day. If it was every single day, then it would feel like a big batch. But yeah, we are nearly at the end of the Advent season. And of course, we shall be starting the Advent event, which always makes me feel like it's nearly Christmas with that one. Because it's just so much fun. It's Christmas time. It's Christmas time when that happens. And I get to talk about the Advent stuff and, you know, the stuff that we'd planned. And of course, I've been working on since, well, December, January of last year. Some of it was actually got in December. Pretty sure it was December. If not, it was definitely January. Some stuff we have had for a while. And then other stuff took quite a while to finalise. But yeah, it's a fun time. It's a fun time. And I do enjoy it at the beginning every year. It's a bit like when you do a diamond painting. The first part is really fun. And the last part is really fun. And the middle part is a bit flatter. It's a bit like that. It's still got its joys, but it's definitely a little bit flatter in the middle. She says she sets her alarm for 4:50. She says for hubby to get up to work for work. She says she normally goes back to sleep. And her other alarm goes off around 9, she says, but that alarm is her cat who wants her breakfast. She says, will she ever let me sleep any longer? Probably not. She says, no, she won't. She says there is no snooze button on that furry alarm. Bless. So I normally set an alarm for around 8, which is pretty much as hubby goes to work, because he works 8 till 4:30, but his work is based from his van, which is outside the house. So he leaves the front door at 8 and he's not late. To have that life. Though I do now, but I didn't used to. Yeah, so I normally set my alarm for around 8, but give myself till about 9 before I have to get going. Sometimes I'm full of energy and I'll get going well before, but otherwise I have a second alarm set for 9 o'clock, which is my you should have moved by now, and if you haven't, sort yourself out alarm, and get going with your day. And yeah, it seems to be working. I mean, there are definitely some days, depending on what time of the month it is, where I hit snooze a few times, but then I still try to make sure that if I've decided to sleep a little bit longer, that I still get myself sorted so that come 9 o'clock I'm still ready to go. I've just chosen to sleep rather than wake up slowly. And quite often, to be honest, I leave Luna in bed. She'll come out of her crate when hubby goes to work often, and I will go back in again later, and she's moved. She's just moved onto our bed and has just decided to sleep there for a while. Sometimes she runs upstairs and goes and gets in the bed with Catherine and snuggles up with her, but then quite often I don't see her until she needs to go out, until she needs to go outside to do her business. Yeah, she's definitely not a morning dog, that's for sure. She's not a big fan of mornings. She likes to go to bed and she likes to get her sleep, and she definitely likes to stay asleep late. But hey, for a dog's life. Kathy, she says, this heaven and earth design, she says, is coming along wonderfully. She says she's going to tackle one in the new year. She says she's never done one. Oh, exciting. Nice 2026 plans. I like it. They are really fun to do. They are so much fun to do. They're different. They're definitely different, but they are fun. And if you don't set yourself any sort of time pressure on completion and just enjoy the process and do as small a section as you need to do. If you've never done it before, I even just recommend starting with one square, 10 by 10, so 100 diamonds. Place down and just concentrate on the one square until you get frustrated with only doing one square and want to increase it. And yeah, just go with the flow. I've found my happy spot now on the size that I do, partly due to the size of my tablet screen, but also I find it is about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on, you know, how many colour changes I need to do, how confetti it is, how much I need to concentrate. But it's a nice size for me. I like that as one sort of chunk of heaven and earth design. Let me get rid of that one. It had a bubble. Crystal, she says she's so happy for me that Advent went well again this year. She says it is the first year she's had to miss it. She says things have been tight. Since Wes passed, she says, but she is looking forward to the December event every day. Oh, bless you. Well, you'll be able to see, say, everything that was in it, and join in on the December event. You don't need to purchase anything for the December event at all. If you want to use a diamond painting from your stash, you can do. If you want to watch it while you're doing something else as me time, you can do. Everybody is welcome to the December event, but take care of yourself and things, you know, things will just, I'm sure circumstances will change as time goes on, or financial circumstances will change as time goes on. Candice, she says, hi Rebecca. She says an update on her graduation from university. She says it went well. She says no medical problems happened. Woohoo! She says she graduated. I can't even say the word. How bad's that? No, she graduated with a Bachelor's of Science in Sportcasting. Ooh, sounds posh. She says, and the trip was wonderful. Oh, I'm so glad it went well. And that you enjoyed it, and congratulations on graduating with your bachelor's. Dee Breezy, she says, where did you get the stand for your tablet? I think it was actually AliExpress, or it might have been fan sales, actually. It may have been from fan sales. But yeah, it's a tablet stand. They probably do them on Amazon, to be honest. Oh look, there's a bow tie that I missed. Yeah, they quite possibly do them on Amazon. It's not a huge thing at all. It's not big. My tablet's not big, but like you could put something else on it. You could put up to a 10-inch tablet on it. The difference is my tablet sits on the whole thing. But it's a bit like with an easel. You can put something on it that's bigger. So I've got an A3 easel, but then I've also got a bigger light pad on mine at the moment, which is what's making the surface area bigger. But yeah, it was only a few pounds. It wasn't a huge amount. It was less than a £5 for the tablet stand, I'm pretty sure. And it's just handy just to give that little bit of an angle, just to make the screen a little bit easier to see. especially if I'm working on it in the conservatory when it's sunny, which we do still get some sun. It's just flipping freezing with it, and we don't seem to get loads. And even as I'm doing this WIP and Waffle, I'm like, is this lighting going? Because it is winter. It is, nights are still drawing in. I think it's December the 21st. I think somebody said it will start getting lighter. I can start feeling better that we're getting closer to spring from December the 21st. I think it is that the days start to get longer. So yeah, it's a nice key day for me. But yeah, the tablet stand is great for just taking the glare off that you can have if it's laid completely flat. And to be honest, it just always sits with my tablet now. It just sits with my tablet constantly. And I often put it on the bookcase behind my table on top of my pen storage when I'm not using it, and it just sits there. Susan, she said she ended up seeing the kitting up of this spaceman, she says, before this video, and she was shocked at how much I had gotten done. See, again, it's that whole new painting feeling. I always get more done when I start a painting. I like fly through the first few sections, or especially the bottom row. I think it's just getting that nice neat row of diamonds across the bottom. I love it. I absolutely love it. And I'm always like, how quick can I get that done? Like, just enjoying the process of doing it. And then it slows down a bit until I can see the end. Until my cover paper is covering the last of it and my clear cover has completely gone, and then I get another spurt. She says she's really liking this painting. She says in regards to the length of daylight, she says she believes that June 21st is the longest daylight of the year, and it proceeds to get shorter up until December the 21st. So there we go. I think I got the right date, and I may have even got it from seeing Susan's comment before, like when it came in a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, until December 21st, which is the shortest daylight of the year, and then it starts to get longer again. Okay, so it'll start to get longer from the 22nd, which was my nan's birthday, bless her. Always still remember that. So, a good date. Days start getting longer. Start getting towards spring, my favourite time. She says she actually does not know if it's the case for the entire world, she says, but it is here. She says, thank you so much for sharing. Oh, now I feel like I'm going to have to look it up. I'm kind of pinning my hopes. It sounds about right. I've got a feeling it's right. But as you say, it could be... Could be different sides of the world. But I think ours pretty much align. Unless it's like out by a day, according to time zones, maybe. But it sounds like it's about the right sort of time frame. Beautiful Bunny, she says, hi Rebecca. She says she is loving my videos as usual. Thank you. Oh, she says we got engaged this week and everyone was asking us if we were out celebrating. She says in the meantime, we were watching your videos and diamond painting. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. You've got to do what you enjoy. Congratulations to you both and I hope you enjoyed your evening having dedicated we time, I'm guessing, instead of me time. As long as you both enjoyed yourself, that is the main thing. Diamond painting with cats and dogs. She says, hi Rebecca. She says, it is Tolly here. She says she knows she's late to a couple of things with the zesties. She says, and you've already talked about some of these. She says, but she'd like to let me know she was born in May, but she loves fall, winter and spring. She says, we are loving all the cover paper and trays. She says that they have ordered from me. And they're going to start a Heaven and Earth design in January. They've ordered a printed canvas from them in black and white. So when they order the drills, it will make the diamond painting pop and come to life. Yes, I actually have a black and white canvas from Heaven and Earth Designs as well. I've actually got the diamonds for it because I ordered them when I ordered the diamonds for the one I'm currently doing. And that will be one of my projects after Outside the Sweet Shop. So that's actually my 4th, I think, massive project. 4th? No, it'll be my 5th. It'll actually be my 5th massive project or big project. But yeah, I have one and I got it in black and white as well so that I could see it, you know, come to life when the colours added. So good choice. She says, we'd love you and your zesties to watch our videos to see this diamond painting come to life. She says she loves seeing the Heaven and Earth design I'm doing now. She said it's so beautiful. She says she didn't think she would like a black and white drawing. She says, but this one is awesome. There is fun doing colour as well as fun from black and white. So I really enjoy diamond painting with lots of colour. The process of it, just seeing the colours in my tray, I absolutely love doing bright ones, even if they're not ones that I would automatically put up in my house all the time. They're the ones I enjoy doing the most. But because I have like a different enjoyment level with that Heaven and Earth design, in the fact that I'm doing it from the chart onto a blank canvas, the fact that it's black and white doesn't bother me, and it always fascinates me how the picture comes to life as well, especially because there's like a green and a beige in there as well. It always fascinates me how the colours start to pop and the image starts to come to life. Sorry, not so much the colours popping. The colours, sort of, even the green just sort of turns into a grey according to the diamonds that are surrounding it. It's fascinating, absolutely fascinating. She says, sending loves from Ohio in the US. Awesome. Well, yeah, I hope you enjoy it come January. It's always a nice challenge to have. And as I say, the canvases are really, really fun to do. What are you growling at? Oh, Catherine's just coming into the room. So Luna is growling and barking at her. Isn't that nice? Now the tail's going. Tails are wagging. Tracy, she says, hi Rebecca. She says she is new to my channel. She says, could you tell me the name of the program that you're using on the iPad? And do you have a video on how to use it? Yes and yes. So the app is called Pattern Keeper. It's not actually available on iPad. It is an Android app. So I use a Huawei tablet that actually has the Play Store on it. So you can get the Play Store to go onto some Kindles. I think there's like something you have to do to make it happen. In fact, there is something you have to do to make it happen. What that is, I don't know. But I know it is out there in the internet world wide webs for you to be able to find that out. But you need to be able to access the Play Store. So Huawei tablets, I think, can't access the Play Store anymore. I don't know, some falling out between them, whatever. But I've got one that had it already installed, so therefore that's still got it. But yeah, you need the Play Store, and it's called Pattern Keeper, and I do have videos on using it. So it's really, really simple to use, but to find the videos, because they are a few years old, they are older videos, easiest way for you to find it is if you go to my website. There is a tab called Resources, and under Resources there is a tab called Videos, and then you'll find a I think it's actually in 2 sections, but if you can't see it in one of these sections, try the other one. Either the Heaven and Earth Design section or the Apps section. I know it's definitely in the Apps, but I think I put it in both. And I do like a quick run through on using the app and using it for diamond painting. It's actually a cross stitch app, is what it was originally made for. But yeah, it's awesome. And I've just looked at the time and I've realised there is no way I'm going to get this section done before I have to stop for today. I don't think I'd even get this section finished before it goes dark. Because even though my camera is doing pretty well actually at adjusting the light at the moment, it is getting to that time of day when I actually need to be putting the lights on. My camera's making it lighter than it actually is. And by the time I've edited it, it will probably look even lighter to you guys than it actually is. It's getting quite dark. Anyway, we shall plough on for a little bit longer. Tracy also says she loves diamond painting. That's fantastic. I love it when I can sort of see in your comments like the enthusiasm for it as well, which is so good, because it's such a fun and relaxing hobby to have. To just, yeah, sit and do for sure. Okay. Think I've got all the multi-placing that I can do to that side. So what I'm trying to do now is sort of block off little sections for where I can get multi-placing done, and if I've missed some I'll just single place them when I get to them, but if I can multi-place it'll save me time. Tuck my putty back in. I probably could do with replacing this as well, but hey ho, we'll do that in a bit. I also need to do that symbol that I missed. LET, she says, hi Rebecca. She says, thanks for this WIP and chat. She says, even though it's a year old. So this is a comment on a WIP and chat from doing Colourful Cooker, the Kookaburra, which is an older one. I can't remember how old, but it's definitely an older one. There's in fact a few comments on older videos within my pending comments. There's definitely been some history watching over the last few weeks. It's probably because, say, the nights are drawing in. You tend to find, yeah, people are just staying in a bit more, watching YouTube a little bit more, because they're just not, you know, it's not the time to be sitting in the garden, is it really? I don't even like going outside in the garden at the moment. It's just flipping cold. It's constantly freezing, but hey ho, I need to do it in a bit. She says she has great brain enthusiasm to do things. She says, but her body doesn't agree. Yes, and that's especially what I feel when I was talking about having, like, getting up if I can't sleep in an evening and my brain's racing to do stuff and my body's like, no, you're not doing that. Go and lie back down. She says diamond painting, accessories, etc. She says she has a really bad problem. She says she puts things away. She says, but then she ends up rebuying because she's forgot where she's put things. She says a bit as far as Dean is concerned, have babies, she says, because she has so much. Ah, all your trays having baby trays. That's quite cute. She says she asked Dean last week if he really needed a wardrobe, and she got a very stern look. She says she can't see a problem with that question. I can imagine you were wanting it for diamond painting storage, potentially. She says, anyway, she says she's going through old videos today, which was on the 10th of November. She says she hopes everybody is okay. She says, thanks, Ellie. Did he ever answer your question, though? That's the thing. Did he say how much he needed a wardrobe? Maybe he only needs half a wardrobe. Maybe he doesn't need the whole thing and he can share. Maybe. Luna? Come here. She's coming. Can we stop barking at nothing, please? Catherine is not going to come and see you just because you're barking. Okay? It's not the way it works. I know. You want to come up, don't you? Hang on, I am just currently rearranging so that a dog can jump up on the chair. Get up then. She likes to jump up and sit behind me on the chair. And I turn the chair and prop my bum right on the edge of the chair so that she has the space to get on. She's just jumped on now. And it's like she looks at it like, can I get on here? Can I not? She knows full well she can. Last WIP and Waffle that I did, she just jumped on the chair because I ignored her. So she knows full well she can get up there. So I am now propped on the front third of the chair, and Luna has the back 2/3 of the chair. Just so you know what situation we're in. Oh, Ellie's commenting on another cooker video. She says, this video, she says that she's watching is a year old today. So there we go. I was doing cooker this time last year. She says when she was a child, she says they lived in a terraced house and they had a deep under the stairs area. She says, yes, she says lots of things lived in there. And Dad put lots of shelves in. He also built his own shed that was leaning on their wonderful, joke, outside toilet. Ah. Do you remember the outside toilets? She says Dad had everything sorted, and he did until he sold the family home in 2010. She says they had moved into a bigger house and Dad had built a garage. She says, but again, everything had its place. She says, she says she misses those days. She says she's also unsure, she says, whether it was this video or the last video that she watched that I mentioned the washing basket. I would have no clue, Ellie. I can't remember what I said last week half the time. Never mind a year ago. But she says they had one in the bathroom. She says, and on a Friday, they got home from school and had to get changed, and everything had to go into the wash basket. She says she can never remember not doing that. She says, anyway, have fun now. She says that she has waffled on. Yes, definitely. School uniform on a Friday, straight in the washing basket. Because otherwise, as I now know, after doing the other side of things, not only the time when I had to put my uniform in the washing basket, but also the other end when I had to deal with the kids, there was nothing worse than realising on a Sunday evening that uniform was not washed. So getting it done as soon as possible on a Friday was definitely the best way to deal with it. Liv, she says she is definitely more of a night person too. She says her dad's a singing vicar in the morning, she said. She has to chuck a pillow near his direction. She says she has jumped out of bed so quick sometimes, so quick at times to even get a shower and out the door, she says, before the bus arrives. She says sometimes she just makes it, and then she said other times she has to wander to the bus station, or if it's too late, head into the office. She stops. If it's too late to head into the office, she stops and works from home. She says the advantage of hybrid working. See, if I had the choice of office or work from home, you'd just catch me at home. I just wouldn't even fight those mornings. It just would not be happening at all. Oh, my camera's shouting at me, it's getting too hot. How long have I been filming for? Okay, I do need to actually go and pack orders though, so maybe I can go get the post ready, let the camera cool down, and see how much more I can get done. It must be getting too much of that heat from the heater. I do want to fill that little bad boy in that I missed though. Let me just stick that in there. There we go. Right, let me go and get the post ready for the postman, and I might see if I can read a few more. I didn't think there was many more comments, but there actually is, but I'll see what I can do. Right, the light is really starting to fade on me, but let's see if we can get a little bit more done. I've just had a look at the comments. There is more than I thought. However, if I do get through the comments, then I only have what will be, as you're watching this, last week's, and then this week's, or today's comments to sort of start on for the Advent event. So I'm going to see if I can get another 20 minutes or so, maybe, out of the daylight. It's just not a huge amount. But yeah, let's just see how we go. But Liv's Dotty Den says, like Luna, Tilly, there's where the Tilly came from, Tilly didn't get scared of the fireworks as she was a gun dog. It's amazing how some just aren't bothered, and some are, which I kind of get. It's like there can end up being some kids who really don't like them either. And I sort of get that, because some of them are flipping loud. But yeah, I think Luna just gets territorial, so she just doesn't like cats in her garden, which doesn't help when there's a few in the area. But yeah, apart from that, she's not bothered by loud noises. Maybe that is because of just the way our house is. Who knows? Melissa, she says, guys, I'm back. Woohoo! She says the surgery went well, and the surgeon said that her knee was in horrible shape, and he could see why she was suffering so much. Ooh, so glad you've got it sorted. She said everything went really well. She said she's proud to say she was able to come off the pain meds after the first week and a half. She hates them because they can become addictive, and they make her want to sleep all the time. She said, which she did do. She did end up doing. She said her recovery has had many ups, but an equal amount of downs. She says she had no feeling in the left side of the incision, she said, until yesterday. And she couldn't lift her leg at all, she says, which was frustrating, which I can imagine, yeah. To not have any control over it. She says up until then, she had to use a strap hook over her foot to lift and maneuver her leg around. She said she had lots of swelling and trouble getting comfortable to sleep at night. She says every time she feels like she's not doing well, she says she then can feel the progress that she makes the next day. She says, and then she has another bad day, and then she feels the progress again the next day. And it's a bit of rinse and repeat, she says. So have a bad day, then feel the progress the day after. She says, so she's keeping her chin up. She is remaining positive. She's a good attitude to have. She says, and she's allowing herself grace, which is probably the hardest part. The one thing you definitely need to do, but probably also one of the hardest things to do sometimes, we often will give somebody else more grace than we will give ourselves. But she says she's got about 6 of my videos to catch up on. She says, and now that she is able to bend her leg enough to sit in her chair to diamond paint again, she says she has got loads to listen to. Perfect. She says, thank you to everyone who left her good thoughts and comments. She says it helps more than you realise. Well, you've done absolutely amazing. I can imagine it is not easy at all. And yeah, we've just got to remember everybody's life has ups and downs for sure. And you just never know when somebody's in their down part. So yeah, giving others grace is good, but definitely giving yourself grace to go, do you know what? I'm just having an off day, an off week, an off month, whatever it may be. I'm just having an off period of time, and yeah, I'll get there. It may take a bit, but I'll get there. And yeah, just giving yourself grace and time with it can be the hardest thing, but it's definitely worth doing. Sailor Jupiter says they love the release paper that I'm using for this one. Thank you. And that is for this painting. I think it goes very, very well with the spaceman theme, which is why I like having options of cover paper to use, because then I can pin it according to the painting. And Dymo Cat Lady 02 says, hi, they're new to the channel. Hello and welcome. I hope you are enjoying. There are lots and lots of videos for you to be able to potentially catch up on. I've got all sorts of videos going on, and yeah, many more to come. I filmed quite a few different breakdowns and kit ups, and then I can imagine in January I will probably be doing the same sort of thing again, especially the rate in which this one's getting completed, even with me not working on it much in the last week. But I am going to set up a decision wheel after this WIP and Waffle, so that I can rotate a little bit which ones I'm working on, or at least which ones of my sort of chart type ones or my little mini paint gems I'm working on, and just mix it up, just plod through them all a little bit, which will be really good, especially in December, because then hopefully you guys will see progress on all of it come next year. You'll be able to see progress on the Heaven and Earth design as well as this one, if it's still going. It might be done by then, who knows. But yeah, but it'll be nice for you to be able to see progress on it all. Right, now my question is, do I do the number 2, which is my next number I've come up to, or do I do some of the bitty ones? No, do you know, I'm going to do number 2. I'm going to do number 2. And we will see how far we get. Where's number 2? Because of course I've not rearranged my case to suit. I think the camera is still doing a really good job at playing real light, which is good. And then I do have some I can multi-place on this one, but I feel like I'm going to single place all these bitty bits over here, and then I'll just multi-place when I get to those big long stretches over there. Cat Lady, she says sorry. She says this is a long one. It's okay. I made a brew after getting the post ready, and I've got about just over 15 minutes until Posty's going to knock on the door, but I think I'll lose the light before then. But she says her problem with doing diamond painting at the moment is still space, or lack of it. She says she has the lemons diamond painting. See, I want to do some of those as well. I've got those of my own ones that I haven't got round to doing. I might put them on my wheel as well, maybe. But she says she has the lemons diamond painting on her desk, and she tends to work on that of an evening. At least that's a nice compact size. She says she has the problem is, she says she has too many crafts calling for her attention. You need a decision wheel too. By the sounds of it, you need something to say, work on this craft today, or work on this one. She says this week has been busy with both her husband and herself, as they have to attend hospital appointments. She says they're routine appointments, nothing to be concerned over. She says they're just a pain as they take time. That's often the thing. Things you really need to do just end up taking time out of your day. And because they're not like urgent, you feel like you should be able to move them, but you also know that you shouldn't. She has a selection of items, she says, to put in toiletry bags. She says, well, for the two of the boys anyway. She says it will be like a stocking, she says, but it will be put in a bag. She said her youngest, David, she says won't be arriving until the 26th at the earliest, but will be more likely the 27th. She said his girlfriend has to work, so it will only be David. She says she's sending his and his girlfriend's presents down in time for Christmas. She says so he can just have the toiletry bag when he arrives. She says the eldest will be with them for Christmas, but she's not sure when he's going home, as he's flying up to them this year. And she said today she ordered the last of her Christmas presents. Well done you on it being the last. I had a little influx of Christmas presents at the beginning of the month, and I did quite well. And then I will admit it has sort of stopped since then. I really need to write myself down like a little tracker of who's got what so far, so I know where I'm up to, so that I can try and finish everybody off, even if I just have like a full-on computer session, and figure out, try and find some small businesses. I know there's a few bits that I want to pick up. I've already done some small business shopping, but I know I want to do some more, because it's the ideal time to sort of support the small businesses rather than the big ones, unless of course, you know, the specific things that people want, or especially when it comes to kids, sometimes there's just specific things that they want. But I've told mine this year they can give me a general idea of what they want, but I don't particularly want specifics, because I want them to have a bit more Christmas magic surprise this year, and it's quite possibly biting me in the foot, but you know, we keep trying. Natalia, she says hi Rebecca. She says she can't wait for the advent calendar. She says greetings from Poland. Hello Poland. I love the amount of different countries that watch my videos. It's fantastic. I've just spotted a couple of plus symbols that I forgot. I think it's because it's getting darker. There are some symbols on here that are so hard to see now, like really hard to see. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this plus symbol that is easier for me to see. Or this X. It's not a plus, it's an X. I'm going to do this one because it's easy for me to see it. Oh, Sammy Lou, she says, so her daughter's sling broke. She says the Velcro stopped sticking. She says, but honestly, she says she doesn't seem to be struggling or look like she has a healing collarbone. She says she is watching while she's doing a Stitch and Angel diamond painting. Kids are just so resilient, aren't they? They really are. They're just, yeah, they just so much, very much so. They will quite often just get on with things. And it's hard to see them when they're in pain and stuff, but afterwards they're just like, oh yeah, I'm fine. Look, I've just spotted another row. I've just filled in the missing ones at the top of there. Yeah, it's definitely getting too dark. How many more have I got left? Oh, too many more to get through. Okay. I was trying. I was very much trying to get through the comments and get the light to last as long as possible. But I think I have been lit out. My camera is doing great guns at adjusting, but I physically am not seeing the symbols anywhere near as easy as I was. It is currently just before 4. It's just turning 4 here. The kitchen light's already on. We tend to use lamps in the conservatory more so than the overhead light. So I think I'm going to fill in these other plus symbols that I missed And I think I'm just going to have to call it there for this WIP and Waffle. So there will be a few more comments that I will take over to the beginning of the December event. But hey, it'll give me a chance to get a couple of days done with the comments. Probably one day with these comments, but then catch up with the rest. And yeah, we'll see if I can get the rest of this finished off this evening. But for now, I'm going to go and make myself a decision wheel and see if I can get some progress, I think, on the Heaven and Earth designs by popping it into the mix as to what I will potentially get done of an evening. And if I get enough evenings to diamond paint, I should hopefully make a fair bit of progress on everything. But thank you all so much for watching, and I'll speak to you all again soon.